selfish, power-hungry, and mischievous. These are all character traits that Loki had in the beginning of the MCU. All he wanted was the throne of Asgard, but he could never have it. He wasn't the heir, and he wasn't even considered for a moment to be worthy of the throne. So he rebelled. On the day of his brother's coronation, he let the frost giants into Asgard to attack, so that he could finally rule the throne, but he was defeated. Then, in hopes to get new power and fulfill his glorious purpose, he aligned with Thanos and the Chitauri. He attacked New York and failed again. Right when he thought it was over, and he would never fulfill his purpose, fate decided otherwise. What's going on, Loki fans? It's me, the X-Men guy, and today we are going to be talking about the final scene of Loki. Now, this is part of the One Last Scene collaboration, so if you want to see the rest of the videos in this collaboration, go down in the description and click on the link for the playlist. But anyway, let's get into the video. I want you to look at these two scenes. What are they about? Why am I showing them to you? Well, it shows the before and after of Loki. In the first scene, Loki will do anything to get power and the throne of Asgard. In the second scene, Loki gets power and ascends the throne. However, it's not anything like he wanted. He didn't want this throne. He didn't want the burden of becoming a ruler, but he accepted it because it was the right thing to do. How did we get here? How did Loki go from selfish and self-centered to sacrificing his wants and needs for his friends and the entire multiverse? This is why I like the scene so much. It shows how far Loki has come as a character. You see throughout the Loki show, Loki evolving. In the first episode, he's talking about his glorious purpose, what he wants to do with his life. He wants to ascend to the throne of Asgard, get power, and finally live up to what he thinks his father would want. However, as the episodes drag on and the season passes, Loki begins to form relationships with members of the TVA and Sylvie. He begins to realize that to be happy, he doesn't need a throne. Loki didn't have the best childhood. He didn't have the best family. He was always overshadowed by his brother, and his father definitely wasn't winning any awards with his fathering skills. However, through the TVA, Loki was able to find true family, and he was finally happy. But then the multiverse came crashing down. Seeing that there's no other options, Loki decides to fulfill his true glorious purpose. Not to become the ruler of Asgard, and not to make his father proud, but to take a different throne, a throne that he didn't want. He sacrifices that storybook ending so that his friends, his true family, and the rest of the multiverse lives on. This scene captures the gravitas perfectly, from the cinematography to the shifting of the costume and down to the music. This scene exhibits the emotions that you want. And finally, as Loki pulls together and holds the multiverse together, he gets his throne and sits down. And instead of seeing a maniacal laughing villain, we see a sad, distraught hero. Also, the green colors are really cool throughout the scene. This scene perfectly encapsulates the journey that Loki's been on since the beginning of the MCU. Sure, it's not the same Loki that was in Thor Dark World and Endgame, but in a sense, he's the better Loki. Instead of maintaining that path and becoming a villain just to die at the hands of Thanos right when he's about to reform, when he sees this, he changes. When he sees his future in the TVA briefing room, he changes and becomes a hero. We see this throughout the series, and I think that this scene just encapsulates the entire thing. I don't know if this is the original ending to Loki. With all the drama with Jonathan Majors, it's rumored that there were 2 different endings. But whatever ending this is, I'm sure that this is the best one. Because it does such a beautiful job at pulling together not only the multiverse, but each plot thread that Loki as a character has had. And even as Little Bo at the top of the present, it forms the tree that we saw Thor explain to Jane Foster at the beginning of, or in the middle of Thor 1. But anyway, guys, that's where I'm going to end it. Make sure to like and subscribe, and shout out to Brendan.